Right, here we have it. So this is Hirst's story, exactly how we got him from A to B. Um, Apologies if I hear a bit, if you hear a bit squeaking. I'm just sat in my desk chair in the middle of the room. I do usually stand at my stand-up desk, but we've just moved house, so I'm just getting like absolutely frazzled. I feel like I'm fucking gonna overheat and die, so I had to come sit over here. So apologies if you hear any squeaking. Right, so Hirst's journey. How the fuck did we do this madness? More specifically, how did he do it? Right, because we can all take, we can all give the best advice. You could have the best accountability, the best support, best community, best plan in place. But unless you're willing to action anything and you're ready for change, you're not going to get shit. And for Sam, he was ready for change. He was in his late 20s. He had gone throughout like in high school. He gradually got heavier as high school went on. I remember being in year 11 and he'd reached like 16 stone, like 100 kilos. We both played rugby, so we was into like his weight and stuff like that. And then he's just continued to go up and up and up. And it was like he was doing like the Eddie Hall thing. He was like gaining like a stone a year type thing until he got to like, I think at his heaviest, he said he was about 24 stone, which will have been a couple of months before he actually started. He actually started at 22 and a half stone, but he actually got heavier. He's told me that the heaviest number he saw on the scale was 24 in December 2022, which will have been 2020, December 2020, which for Sam, that'd have been just before his 27th birthday. So it'd have been just 26 and he'd been 24 stone, so almost a stone a year. Um, but yeah, he was ready for change. He was in pain. I threw him a bone. And just to quickly go over that before we get rocking and rolling. Basically, with Sam being a tight bastard, I says to him, being his best friend, I said to him, right, Sam, you're going to pay for online coaching at like every other motherfucker in the program. The only difference is if you get under 120 kilos by August, I'll give you your money back. Because up to this point, he'd done a bit of a diet with me, and the systems I had in place weren't as good, and he wasn't as committed. And he'd, give me 20 quid or something stupid as a friend, and then he'd lose half a stone, go on holiday, gain it back. But this time it was different. We kind of set some longer term goals in place, and the money motivated him. So we got it underway, and not only did he get under 120 kilos from way over 140 by August, he actually did it by May. So it let a rocket under his ass. Right, so starting struggles, as I mentioned beforehand, foot pain. I remember him complaining about his feet all the fucking time to me. He was going for like foot massage. He was going and seeing different people, getting different treatments. And I'm his best mate. I remember saying to him, like, Sam, it's probably because you haven't thought it's just because you're fucking heavy, mate. Um, Obviously, you can have that type of honest conversation with your friends. Outwardly, he was a very confident guy. He could command a room. We could have great conversation. He'd have great crack, always taking the piss. Very much like life and soul of the party sort of thing. Um, but internally, and it did bother him being big. It did bother him the overweightness. All them things bothered him, name calling, etc. It did get to him. And like I say, a typical lad name calling amongst close friends, but also at work, you're experiencing that. I remember him at one point. There were people in the reception. He always worked in the bus business, if you were to call it that. So he's been a mechanic. He's been like a supervisor, etc. And he's there was a receptionist that called him Panda at one place, which just sounds like funny in one side, but like if that's something that you feel like you've been struggling with for years, it can really get to you. And then nothing fit. It's fucking normal. You couldn't go into normal clothes shops anymore. Um, it was fucking him up. Like he couldn't just get like a bastard trying to get clothes from like Next or normal clothes shops. So he was struggling. So that's where we were. That was the start point. Okay, this is how we essentially. This is what goes into the program. This is kind of like the support that he had in place, and this was what goes into anyone's program, just for reference. Um, So first of all, the strong physique transformation method, which is essentially just our plans. Okay, this is just the tailored plans that you get for you, so you know exactly what you to focus on. It's black and white. This is what you follow, and you get a result. Number two is the accountability. So that's what we call the weekly progress protocol. So this includes things like checking in, all that jazz. But essentially, it's just to make sure that you stay on track with your personalised goals and you have someone in your corner. We've got the Knowledge Vault. So essentially, we tool you up with the education side of things with over 100 videos more, and I know for a fact we do more educational work than any other coach that I've come into contact with, and I've come into contact with a fuckload of coaches. um, we do 2 group calls a week, that's 6 a month because we have 1 rest week. They all get stored in the Knowledge Vault on the app, and we've been doing that for a few years. So you can imagine we've accrued a lot of videos there, and that's all just so you guys know how to do this shit forever. Same for Sam. Okay, that's a big thing that's gone into this, and not only that, he also got education in his private WhatsApp group. He also got education in his accountability. He also got education in his plans as well. So that's massive to us that he actually knew how to do this shit for the rest of his life, and it wasn't just a diet for fucking Xanti or what have you. Not that he goes Xanti anymore, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, adapt and conquer framework. Fancy way of saying support. Okay, the support is there when people need it. Bearing in mind, this is not one-to-one personal training that Sam's gone through. Yeah, we train together every now and again, but it wasn't one-to-one PT. That's not how you lose weight. That's not how you get in shape. That's not how you get where you need to be. It's support when you need it. So every now and again, like once every 12 weeks, we'd jump on a call if Sam needed it, and we'd go through things that he was really struggling with. If we couldn't solve that, just with voice notes and back and forwards, because oftentimes we could. Because when you know how to deal with certain problems and you can deal with them fast, efficiency is king. Especially when you're busy, especially when you got kids, especially when you got a work or business that you're trying to progress in as well. And then lastly, strengthening numbers. So we've got the community side of things. We have the in-person meetups. We have the group calls that you can attend. We have the WhatsApp group. So Sam's involved in all this. He doesn't jump on the group calls as much anymore. He uses parts of the program that he feels he needs. So he'll still come to like the in-person events we can make him, and he'll still obviously be responsive in the group chat if he needs to be. Doesn't really need to be, but for him it's just like a bit of accountability. We're there if he needs us, sort of thing. We're there if he needs us, sort of thing. Right, so okay, let's get into the skeleton plan. This is the juicy bit, and this is the bit you're here for, really. So Sam's first 9-month fat loss phase. So officially sent his first weigh-in at 142.9 kg, 22 stone, 7.2 pounds, so 22.5 stone. By September, he was 18 stone, 2.8. That's him at 18 stone, 2.8. That's him at 22 stone, 7 pounds. So, from January to September, he lost 4.5 stone almost. Okay. This was done with a macro plan and a meal guide. So what we do is we made sure that he had, so I'd say to him, right, make sure, most important thing is you hit this calorie goal and this protein target. Here's one for your training days. Here's one for your rest days. Rest day 1 might be a few hundred calories less. What we found out quickly with Sam was that wasn't working great for him. What he preferred was, he always was like overeating on a weekend. So what we said was, okay, instead of having it where you go off plan and you struggle on a weekend, let's just plan it in. So we gave him, I remember at one point he was on 2,000 calories on a weekend and 1,700 during the week. Obviously this is an aggressive fat loss phase. His food wasn't always that low, but 2,000 on a weekend, 1,700 during the week. So he had a bit more room for error on a weekend, a bit more, not room for error, but room for extra food if he wanted it. So he could enjoy more social stuff with the missus, okay? And that's what worked for him. And during this phase, he also found that what's called intermittent fasting worked well for him, or not intermittent fasting, but like carb fasting. Essentially, it's just carb backloading. So what he'd do is he'd not have that many carbs and fats during the day to save them for the evenings, and he'd just have the high protein stuff during the day. The reason being is he didn't have many cravings during the day, okay? Your calories are always going to be made up of proteins, fats, and carbs, and for him, it was like he could have, this is going to sound bananas, this is what he lost weight on, he'd have like 10 bacon medallion sandwich in the morning, and then he'd have a half a kilogram of Greek yogurt during the day. Sounds like loads of food, but it's less than 1,000 calories, and that'd fill him up till the evening, and then he had 1,000 calories left to play with, where he could have burgers and chips, homemade of course, with 5% beef mince. And he found that, so he'd stick to, we joked, called him the burger man, but it just made it so easy for him. Another thing he did that helped with his hunger and appetite was he'd just smash massive, I've got a big bottle of water here, I won't grab it because I have to get up, but he'd just smash a lot of fluid. We'd aim for him to have 4 litres of fluid a day, sometimes he'd do 6, okay? He'd have, and if he was really craving, he'd get the Aldi Pepsi Max, like the bigger bottles, and he might have one of them over a couple of days. Sometimes if he were naughty, he'd have it in one day, which is a lot of caffeine, but it's low calorie, And when you've got an appetite of someone that's 22.5 stone, these things help, right? Right, reverse diet. So I've changed the way that we do things in the program a little bit since we started working with Sam. So as you can see, Sam there did like a 9-month fat loss phase, which, that's what, 36 weeks? Yeah, that's 36 weeks of fat loss. Typically, I won't have guys do over 20 weeks now because I feel like it burns guys out. And we'll split it with 20 weeks of fat loss top end. If someone's really big like Sam, it'd be like 20 weeks of fat loss. Or not even really big, just overweight. 20 weeks of fat loss, 6 to 16 weeks of a reverse diet or a diet break. Just to mentally refresh it, maybe give them a new training program, keep the accountability in place, make sure I don't regain and control that. With Sam, we probably pushed it a bit too far. We did do a bit of a reverse diet, and as you can see, these dates are a bit messed up. So this is the start of, that's actually correct. So that's meant to say 31st of 12, 2021. So if we look back, September 2021, 18 stone 2, and that's October, November, December. End of December, he'd gained just over a stone back. Now, obviously, we did actually want to reverse his food up, but we weren't actually aiming to increase body weight. But with things like Christmas and everything around that time, I remember him actually gaining like 10 pounds around Christmas because he just like indulged and he just like pressed the fuck it button a little bit and he struggled a bit. And that's normal. That was his first Christmas being this new version of him. So he wasn't, there's all well and good changing your habits and losing weight, but changing your self-identity and how you manage like big occasions like that, it might take a couple of attempts, okay? So by the end of Jan, he was back where he was in terms of weight loss in September. But only difference is he'll have built muscle because he kept training with weights, okay? He kept consistent in the gym. He didn't fall off. He didn't quit. And he did actually do a controlled reverse diet in there a bit as well. Right, the fat loss phase of doom. 2022. I know this is a lot to take in. 2022. So this is actual screenshots from the old way that I used to do diet plans and things like that. So he started off, like we said there, just over 19 stone. By June, he was 17 stone 4. By September, he was 16 stone 8. And by the start of the next year, 2023, he was down to 15 stone 5. So he fucking sent it. Okay, so in that year, he went from 19 stone 4 to 15 stone 6. So he almost lost another 4 stone there. So basically, he lost 4 stone from January to September, regained a bit, regained a stone, then lost 4 stone again this following year. So 1 step back, 4 steps forwards. And here's what we were looking like, okay? So in June, this is 18 months into the program, 17 stone 10. As you can tell, like I said, he built some muscle because he did not stop fucking training. So that's him at Sparth Res. We did a bit of cold water stuff. It wasn't that cold in June there. He fucking hated it when it came along. That's him in September, another stone and 2 pounds down, looking mighty jacked. And that's him in November at our mate Camfield's wedding, the Ginger Ninja. So there's me and Hirst, and 15 stone 3 there, so which is 96.5 kilos, down from 142.5 kilos. And that's less than 2 years in. As you can tell, it looks like a different fucking man completely. And then this is where the cool bit is. So this is 2023. So this is the end of Jan. So as you can tell, 15 stone 3 here. We had the busy season coming up, Christmas. He was only 3 pounds down a few months later, but that's normal, okay? That is normal, and that's okay. But looking again, more muscle, okay, leaner. And then end of Feb, another 5 pounds down. And then the next one I'm about to show you is the money shot. So this is him shoot day 2023. Sitting somewhere between 14 stone 4 to 14 stone 6. With some sexy balding bastard in the back there. Yeah, absolutely fucking madness. Absolute fucking madness. And don't get me wrong, during all these times, Sam did struggle every now and again with like controlling his appetite. I remember after this photo shoot, he had a bit of a binge. He overconsumed, he struggled a bit, and then he got back on it. So he gained about 8 pounds this week, the weekend after this, okay? But it's the main thing is that he just carried on. He didn't just like quit because he fucked up once or what have you. He just carried back on, kept the accountability and kept going. And then his wedding day, 2023. Looking like an absolute fucking champ. And then fast forward to now, 2025. He's had a job change in that time. His first child was born last September. And the odds are against him. Now, when I say the odds are against him, you're probably thinking, what do I mean? I mean, statistically, like legit, the odds are against him. So this is what the stats say. Okay? Most people that lose a large amount of weight within the first year, 33% to 50% of lost weight is typically regained. Within 3 to 5 years, over 80% regain most or all of the lost weight. Okay? Let me think, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Come January this year, January 2026, he'll have done 5 years. The boy ain't fucking gaining 50 kg between now and then. It ain't happening. Okay? Clinical trials, only 10 to 20% sustain more than 5% of weight loss after 5 years. 87% maintain more than 10% of weight loss at 5 to 10 years in certain parts. Don't know what that means. WCR. Okay, fuck knows. But it's bananas, okay? In the research, they actually call what Sam is unicorns because they're that fucking rare, okay? Majority of people, 90% plus, do not keep the weight off long term. Sam has. 1, because of how we run shit. 2, because of him, okay? This is him in 2025 with his little girl. He didn't even send me this to put anywhere. He just sent me it. I'm like, fuck me, mate, that is awesome. Okay, so the differences now. So this is cool. When he did his photo shoot, he trained 5 days a week with weights. Now, he trains between 2 and 3 days a week because he just couldn't get it in with a kid. His cardio for the photo shoot, the first time he got ripped, fucking hell, the last couple of weeks, because we were a bit behind, we did 60 minutes of cardio 5 times a week. It's a lot, I know. Now he does cardio sometimes none, sometimes 3 times a week, and it'd be like 20 minutes each time. His steps, between 8 and 10k, he's a mechanic, he's on his feet, and he walks his dog. Sustainability, and he's in shape for life. Fact, you can't argue with it. There's not really many case studies that are this long. This is a big quote that comes to mind whenever I think of Hirst's journey. And this is like when you're thinking, I need to lose a stone for this holiday I've got coming up. I want to lose 2 stone this year. I want to see what I can lose by Christmas. I want to see what I can lose by January. I want to see what I can lose before whatever X date that's coming up in that's very imminent. The reason why we do this is 1, because we actually feel a bit of pressure from that because it's so close and it feels real. And 2 is because we can actually imagine it. It doesn't feel out of touch. But men will always overestimate what they can do in 4 weeks and they'll underestimate what they can do in 4 years. And I promise you, after working with hundreds of guys now, the ones that get the best fucking results do not think about, they're not hyper-focused on the goal in 4 weeks' time or an 8-week cut or a 6-week cut. They're focused on what I can do in minimum 1 year. They're focused on where they want to be in 10 years' time. They're focused on where they want to be in 5 years' time. They're focused on where they want to be when they're older. When you've got that type of mindset, you will set yourself, you will just fucking follow through because it's that much more aligned with who you want to be as a man that you'll just get way better results. And that's it, evidently. Right, biggest takeaways from my perspective is just stay in the path. If you fuck up, you just keep going. Hirst has had plenty of fuck ups. He had at least 2 a year where he'd like over splurge and regain half a stone for the first 2 to 3 years. He's not really doing that anymore. This is the first time. This holiday's just been on. He came back like a kilo heavier, which is like madness. If that was 3 years ago, to come back 5 kilos heavier. Okay, so the way he's just navigating shit's way better. And we've got more trainings on that. I've got how to navigate holidays and everything like that. But yeah, if you watched it to the end, I hope this was fucking helpful for you. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your biggest takeaways. And thank you for watching. Take care.